All right, live it is. Hi everybody, this is MT Shravanapamanyu, and I am over here presenting you Rustic with Shravanapamanyu, the season 1, episode number 3 for all of you. Those are there over here witnessing the life. So just waiting for the viewers. Okay, the first viewer, I think that's a biggie. The first viewer itself is a biggie, and it's my guest. That's Shekhar Vijayan. Thank you so much for being the first viewer. Yes, I'm going to invite Shekhar Vijayan, who's my guest for today. Before that, first of all, welcome all of you for Rustic with Ramanupamani, Season 1, Episode number 3, and presenting you for today evening. He's a stand up comic, an author, an MC by himself, and a true entertainer. Right, guys, let's go live with him. And that is Shekhar Vijayan bringing you all the action. Just adding him. Yes, welcome. Welcome, Dustin. How are you doing? Good evening.
Hi Shravan, I'm fine. How are you?
I am so far so good. The moment you came, on live, actually, I thought,
Uh,
is it Michael
I think
Jackson for a moment?
Michael Jackson. Yeah. Michael Jackson's ghost. Actually,
Michael
dude,
Jackson.
I think our camera needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, yeah.
Either
Now is it fine?
you need to come in. Yeah. I think it's fine. I think both of us are good.
Now
Yeah.
it's fine.
So Shravan, first up, how are you doing today? Tell me
Uh,
that.
yeah, I'm so far so good at the moment, and
Uh,
it's so-called lockdown now. The lockdown
uh,
4.0 has become a so-called lockdown.
4.0. You know, I feel the our honorable Prime Minister
Uh,
wanted to make sure that all the fellow countrymen should stay within indoors for
mhm.
2 months. He's just broken it down into four parts because knowing if he tells everybody, boss, 2 महीने के लिए
uh,
तुमको अंदर रहना, nobody's going to listen to him. Now
uh,
he's broken it down into four parts, and that's what people are doing.
100%.
Sandeep says that he. So tell me, how are
So
you?
I'm so far so good, and a couple of things before to start off. Since everybody's first question was, how long is this show? So this is a pretty cutthroat, decent, straightforward show of 20 minutes for all of you. And to be precise, if I have to say it on my own style, it's a 1,200 second show.
I like your attention to detail. So, for everybody who's listening in, for everybody who's watching in, Shravan is also a part of this very interesting group called this MC group, which has got one of the largest number of MCs in Bangalore. And Shravan is known for his voice notes. His voice notes are like Modiji's addresses
Oh my.
because it's got all the information. It's interesting to watch it and listen to it. It's almost like a flow chart. His voice notes. So the next time you get him on a show, please ask him to tell us what is his voice note all about, because I think it's a piece of art. That's something he's learned during this lockdown, which can be used.
Fantastic. So, relating to the same lockdown and bringing to some serious action, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, boys and girls, those who are actually live with me and watching and listening, this is Shekhar Vijayan. And
We've also got an audience who's watching you.
yeah, yeah.
There's
So,
somebody who's watching you. You know who's watching? I'll show you.
yeah. Oh my God, fantastic. That's a wonderful audience. Really overwhelmed. Thank you so much for being on my live. A big salute to you.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah. So- yeah. Continue.
Right?
Go for it, Shravan. Keep talking.
Yeah, yeah. All right, great. So, boys and girls, let me tell you one fact. Shekhar is also a stand-up comic. As I said, he's an MC and an entertainer and an author. Also, a vulnerable artist who's also got that voice or that legacy who can bring things in action, not at the local level, but really at the vocal level. Why am I using this line? Is because when he tweeted in the Twitter and Mr. The Prime Minister. All right, I think my guests network in dismissed, I believe. I don't know. Hold on, let me bring him in action. Wait a minute, guys. Just a second, guys. My great to see you guys, associate. Thank you so much, Vinay. Uh, just a second, I'm gonna bring him back into the action. I know. It's very sad, but definitely he's gonna come back. Don't worry, guys. He's not gone anywhere. 100% is gonna come back. Don't worry for sure. Right. Let me see. Yes, I'm adding him back. I'm adding him back. Yes. He's being added. Let me see. Let me wait and watch. Right. I've added him. Let's see. Okay. Approve. Right. Hold on, guys. It's been added. Just a second. Okay. Now let me try and add him back. Just a second. Clear network problem. 100% yes, that is Shekhar Vijayan who was talking to me, and there's some bit of an issue. And just wait a second. Yes, he's back. He is back with his lovely and really good audience. Yeah, great. So, Shekhar, if you are able to listen to my voice, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All
This
right.
wine
So
might
I
just get you more eyeballs, huh? I can tell you that.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a sense of humor. If you have a stand-up comic and if you're a versatile artist, that's how he brings things in action. So I was mentioning about the Twitter. His voice, his audio notes also were good. That's what he meant for me. But let me tell you, he had an idea to put all the railway coaches as isolated beds, or the use can be used for treating patients for either for COVID or anything else. Now the railway, all the trains are being idle, sitting idle. So you don't have the space, you have the scarcity of the places. The first thing what he did is he tweeted to the government of India, and the next day it was thought it's a good idea, it's a fantastic idea, and they tweeted back with the photograph saying that, sir, we have agreed to it. As a citizen of India, you've done a great job, and as a server to you, I served. And look at the railway coaches, and all the railway coaches were turned into COVID beds. And that was a fantastic idea. I have to ask this question to you, Shekhar. How did it get into your mind? What was the ground level thought process to bring in this out of the thinking?
So, Shravan, I think India as a country is very diverse, and there is so much in India which one can do. If and our railways is the lifeline of India, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lifeline, and I would say uh, there is so much of romance attached to Indian Railways. If you look at it, there is if the entire thing of Indian Railways is there's so much of passion, so much of ambition, and I thought if there is an opportunity where your railways can be used as because obviously during the lockdown nothing is going to work, right? Your none of your modes of transportation are going to work. So why not give it a shot? Because I know that the government of India is very active on Twitter. They're very active on Twitter. There have been moments when I have tweeted the Honorable Prime Minister, and I've got a response from him.
Oh,
And if obviously we tweet the right thing. When I'm saying tweet the right thing, when you're talking about development, when you're talking about things which can be done, that always works. And it's just that somehow it reached the right ears, and people who could make a decision made it. But I think more than just me, I think it's the government of India which is doing what it does. I think every Indian would have thought of this, of sending a message out to Indian Railways and telling them that why not use the carriages, why not use the goods trains? Why not use the passenger trains as beds? Because we have, I think it's a very Indian mentality. There's something in India, in the northern part of India, which is called Jugaad. I was born and brought up in Delhi. Jugaad basically means we Indians have a way of getting a solution out of anything, which is something which is very, very Indian, which is not there in any other part of the world. That's what makes India so special. And I've traveled around the world, and I know that Indians around the world, people know that about us. I've been to places like China, New York, London, Australia, but there's no place like India. As in the Indians and the positivity which Indians have, it's not there anywhere else. And more than the positivity, it's the can-do attitude. And I think during this time, which is COVID 19, a lot of people are anxious, a lot of people are calm, a lot of people are nervous, a lot of people are really irritated with staying in this lockdown forever. But I think we are also very fortunate. We are also very privileged because there are people out there who are fighting for us. It's like a battle, I would say. There's an invisible enemy. And we are just lucky that we are able to talk about this on a live. There are other more important people who are doing bigger tasks. So the least we can do is just stay at home and do what we can in terms of spreading positivity, which is not really tough, I believe. Like you can become a champion just like that, I believe. It's like a world war, and the enemy is very invisible. You cannot see it anywhere. So hopefully, this live which we have should somewhere strike a chord with every Indian out there, saying that you know we can conquer this. It's not so tough as we think it is. And I believe that when you have seen the worst in life, uh, you know nothing. You can only move up from it. You cannot come down. You can always go up. I believe we have this COVID-19 situation has also brought one very important skill out, which is gratitude. So
Correct.
somebody who's extremely rich or somebody who's extremely poor, they both can get affected by COVID-19, which we all know, right? So money has no value right now. Money, yes, takes you from point A to point B, gives you food and all everything, but it's brought everybody down. And we've also realized that nature is a real showstopper here. Nature can do what it can. We have seen what's happening right now. Cyclone in Calcutta, such a beautiful state, and cyclone has gone there and done what it has, right? So I think it's somewhere we have also got to realize that we are just a tiny speck in this universe. We are very
Correct.
insignificant.
Very true.
That's there to it, and that I think that balance is very important to understand that uh, it's I think it's very important to believe that one for all for one. We
Fantastic.
have to work together as a team to conquer this COVID-19 together. And I think India is taking the lead here. India is such a large, such a diverse country, so many states.
When you talk about the COVID-19 issue, when you talk about this, I think the network also goes for a toss. So people, for those who are listening, he covered, my guest covered a lot of valuable points so far. He's still there. There's a bit of network issue. Just adding a shaker back into the action. He is definitely there. Bit of network issue for him. Yeah, get connected. He will be back. Just a second.
Yeah. Sorry, man. The internet connection is really, it cannot match up to our energy levels. Looks like that.
When you say it is COVID-19 an invisible enemy, and when you scold it in that manner, when you humiliate the coronavirus in that manner, of course it says, you humiliate me, I'm gonna show who I am to you through network also.
Absolutely. 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 Yeah. So, Shravan, you were telling me about cricket, right? And there's one particular game which you really like a lot.
Yeah.
Tell
Of
me
the
about that.
1996, Amir Sohail, Venkatesh Prasad, Ravi Shastri, nobody can forget that.
I also believe Jadeja played a very important role in that game. Ajay Jadeja. I think he came in. That is a moment when he realized that Jadeja can really hammer bowlers of the
Yeah,
caliber of Waqar Yunus. I think in
100%.
that game, Waqar Yunus was obviously he had a such a long run up. I thought कहाँ से bowling करेगा? Lahore से करा कि Pakistan से करा? Like his run up was and he used to run like he was a fast bowler with that
Yeah.
swing, in swing, and outswing. And the way this guy just hammered him over mid wicket, Ajay Jadeja, I think he was that entire impetus he gave to the innings. I think India made 270 or 280 odd in
Correct.
that game.
Mm.
But the way Saeed Anwar batted and this guy, Amir Sohail, in 10 overs, he made around 80 runs. And
Yeah.
then Amir Sohail did which he had to do. And he got a nice answer from our own Bangalore boy, Venkatesh Prasad. I think that match we will remember for variety of reasons for Javed Mirdad getting oranges from the crowd in Bangalore. That was one of Javed Mirdad's last game also. I think so. And I think Pakistan has never won a game against India in the World Cup because I think India's temperament in the World Cup is very, very different. I feel.
Exactly. Before moving, I think you will have to tilt up the camera a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, of course, that action and the response action was like not at all pre-planned or nothing like that. But to be frank with you, I was mentioning the same with even Abhishek Shivram, the first guest of mine, and if I
Hmm.
have to relate the same thing, it was with Andrew Nell and Srishant. The same thing
Oh
which
yeah.
happened in the test match, and Andrew Nell pulled Srishant's leg by giving a weird bowling action, and then he was took for a surprise for a extra bit bounce, and then after that Srishant dancing down the rack whacked it to a straight sixer. That was a very good response. That actually was meant for a troll. In fact, the same like Amir Sohail and Venkatesh Prasad, and over here Srishant and Andrew Neil.
Srishant was dancing like a Malayalam superhero in that in after hitting Antonio for a six. Like Mammootty was almost dancing on the pitch after that game during at the end of that six which he hit him. Now, Shravan, I have to ask you this:
Yeah.
you follow cricket, you love cricket. If there is one cricketer
Hmm.
on whose batting your
Hmm.
life depended. That
For
person
me,
keeps scoring runs and he stays at the wicket. He does not score runs. He just has to stay at the wicket. Who would that cricketer be?
for me, ever, even if you wake me at the last second of my breath, my answer would be one and only the Indian wall, the wall of cricket, Rahul Sharad Dravid. For
Rahul
me,
Sharad Dravid, the wall.
yeah, the wall. Of course,
Nice.
yes. To be frank with you, he's not that aggressive batsman, or he's not that known fame for Sehwag, Sachin, or Chris Gale or somebody. But what you got to do is you need to have one player, such kind of a mature player. I mean, it's a gentleman's game.
Correct.
I'm not here to compare, but the only thing, the X element, what you find over here in Rahul, style of cricket is or batting is, even it slips, he is like a Fevicol or a gum. You stick to the slips, you had the hardest catches, you put the dive on your wrong side. Of course, you hold on to the catch, you put the dive onto your right side, that's also being clinched onto your hand. You had the minute of the minute catches being holding on to it. It almost hits the ground, but still you got your palms underneath the ball. That is the fantastic cricketer, if I have to say. When it comes to batting, no matter what, even
This sounds like
I
cricket commentary, man.
thank you. I happened to listen to one of the press statements. If my son has been born, if I've been blessed with a kid, in terms of a boy or a girl, trust me, it's going to be a century. That's what he said. In the next match against Sri Lanka, I still remember my nerves are getting literally on a boiled note. When he was batting on 94, he whacked a straight sixer to reach a ton. Fantastic cricketer. He stood up to his promise. And a few people say don't perform. Few people don't say they perform. But this gentleman is a versatile 360-degree angle. cricketer for me in terms of batting, in terms of sticking on to his wicket, in terms of having his deliverance towards the deliberate and the sensible, matured way of cricket for me. So it's
I
yeah.
hope Rahul Dravid is listening to this. He he'll have tears in his eyes because of the kind of
Oh my
compliments he
God.
get. But genuinely, I think Rahul Dravid is a man whose actions speak louder than his words. And I also believe he was one of India's. He's never got credit for this, but he was one of the first captains in Indian cricket team of for ODI who showed India how to chase and win as a captain.
Ah,
India
true.
has got a very good record in terms of chasing and winning, all because of Rahul Dravid. And obviously, we had some very interesting captains in the past, from the likes of Patodi to the likes of Azharuddin to Saurav Ganguly, MS Dhoni, and now Virat Kohli. And Dravid is not the kind of guy who's very expressive like the others, but he gets the job done. And I think he'd also handled during his time wicket keeping as well as batting.
Yeah.
He was a wicket keeper, and you also know, right? Wicket keeping is
Yeah.
a thankless job, right?
Oh
You're
my
only
God.
known for the mistakes you make. Actually, only when you make
Actually,
mistakes,
yes.
people notice, "Ha, wicket keeper hai."
Now,
And
it's a big question. Who is the wicket keeper? Next wicket keeper. That's a big question now.
yeah, next wicket keeper. I think it's all about temperament, and I don't know. I think more than us, the cricketers must be really itching to get back on the field. Because this is the time when IPL would have happened ideally around this time, right? And the likes of Virat Kohli or the like or other players, everybody was just itching to get back on the field. But I think what is of paramount importance is to make sure that everybody is safe. I think more than getting on the field, it's very important that COVID-19 is not there anymore. But this is going to be a way of life, I believe. This entire thing of COVID-19, the conversations around it, the way business is going to change, everything is going to change now, or everything has started changing because of COVID-19. So we got to
Of course.
handle it. We got to look forward to it. There's no way of denying it.
Of course, yes. When India was asked to do certain strict things like follow, Swachh Bharat. I mean, any leader can call for a Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. I'm not supporting any party or somebody, but the intention is very good of keeping India clean. And
Oh
when
yeah.
somebody says that go digital and everything, people are not listening. Now if I go to, I generally don't go for this, Reliance Fresh or something. I usually go for the local kirana shops or the grocery shops or the street vendor who sells lemon and all.
Hmm.
So at that point of time, I still remember one of the ladies say that I don't have the money to eat itself. Now how will I install the Paytm and everything? Now the same lady with the help of her son has installed a Paytm or a Bharat BR, Bharat QR code, Bheem app, and everything. She has put now. So rupees 20, I will give you 5 pieces lemon or 6 pieces lemon. You
Hmm.
don't have money. There is the option. There are the options being displayed. Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, Bheem app, QR code, everything is available. And now I question her saying that you are the one who said I don't have food to eat. Why will I buy a smartphone? Why will I install all these things? Now the next thing which he answers is I don't have an option. That's why, and that's where I got to know necessity knows no law
Is the
itself.
mother of invention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Necessity is the mother of invention, they say, right? So I think that's true.
Now, relating the same thing, you also had a chance to share a stage with the current Indian captain Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please tell us how was the experience and what was the event all about? Was there a bit
So,
of nice interaction, or
oh
the
yeah.
way of Shekhar Vijayan's interaction, or the way of stand-up comic interaction, or
Man.
the way of author interaction?
So see, with celebs like Virat Kohli, or with any celeb, I think of so not just Virat Kohli. I have shared space with the respected Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy, innumerable times. And obviously, when you talk about Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, Virat Kohli, even with Shashi Tharoor, all four of them are very different, I will say. For example, Virat Kohli is somebody who is very passionate about what he wants to do in life, which is very clear. Uh, so when I met him, I had lost around 45 kilos in a year, and I think somebody from the team had shown him my photograph, and he was like totally blown away of the amount of weight I had lost and how I had lost it. And I told him I'd lost this weight by just running 15 kilometers every day and doing a plank every half an hour. And then there's a Delhi connection also because I studied in Delhi. So the thing about people from Delhi is, if you've encountered anybody from Delhi, the people from Delhi are very dildar. They're very
Mhm.
open-hearted. They have nothing to. They have. This is the way they are. And the thing with Virat Kohli is very expressive. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think he's very clear about what he wants to do in life. At least that's what one can make out when you interact with him. Now, for example, I interacted with Virat Kohli. Now, when I did something with, I was introduced by Narayan Murthy also to his wife, Sudha
Oh, okay.
Murthy.
Yeah.
He told her that, this is Shaker, he's a storyteller, just like you. And, it's very interesting. He wanted to know how I got into this profession of entertaining and engaging and motivating and inspiring people. What was I doing before that? And, he wanted to know so much. So that's a difference. That kind of conversation you have with somebody like Narayan Murthy is gold dust, I would say. And that's a very South Indian thing also. I think if you're from southern part of India, people are usually like this. I feel they want to get into conversation, and people like Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, Shashi Tharoor, for example. Shashi Tharoor, I was doing a show with him, and I told him I'm also Malayali just like you, but I think I would need a dictionary when you speak in English. And then he laughed and said, when you speak Malayalam, it sounds like English. So we had a laugh around that. Though I'm a Malayali born, but my English is obviously much better. So I think when you handle such characters or such celebrities or such inspirational personalities, it's very important to have presence of mind. And also about a topic which you can talk about because their attention level is very less, which you also know, right? The attention level is the level of a is like the attention span of my dog, I would say, in the sense like they have got so many things running in their head. So you got to talk to them about something which they can talk about and something which can relate to the larger audience. So when you're talking to say Virat Kohli and there's an audience which is waiting to listen to him, you should talk about things about fitness, about cricket, about leadership, and about what it takes for him. If you talk about food with him, he will not answer anything. If you talk about movies, he may not be very keen. But fitness is something which is very keen about, and he's done. If you look at Virat Kohli right now, there's a drastic transformation in the way he is to what he was earlier, and I think that's
Yeah.
pure determination, and that's what I like about him. He's on his own. He set a benchmark, and I think somewhere his inspiration was the tennis players of the like of the ilk of Djokovic, Roger Federer, Nadal. I think the body fat percentage is around 5% or 6%, and somewhere I think Virat Kohli I think woke up one morning and saw himself in the mirror and said, I want to be as fit as them or be the fittest man in cricket, and that's what he did. So if that can be an inspiration for anybody else, why not? Let's look at that and let's stay inspired. And I think that's what I really liked about him somewhere. That fact that, I want to go ahead and make a change. Whereas if you look at somebody like Narayan Murthy, the fact that he's done everything on his own, starting a company like Infosys and making sure it's right on the world map as we talk with the likes of Nandan Nilikeni and everybody else, and with Sudha Murthy. Sudha Murthy has written, I think, around 19 books. You will be surprised. And all the books are so simple to read and they're all children's books. So simplicity itself is the biggest virtue. And
Very true. Rightly said.
yeah, and she's very. Uh, when you interact with her, you realize that I had done a show with her and Shashi Tharoor. So both are from two different worlds, right? Shashi Tharoor is a man who's a politician, seasoned politician, who knows how to charm his way out of anything. Whereas Sudha Murthy is cut and dry. What you see is what you get. So it's interesting to when you meet such personalities, but you also realize that the kind of profile we are in terms of entertaining and engaging people. It's also important to realize that everybody is a superstar. Everybody is a story behind them, and all these celebrities who we talk about, they've all seen a lot of failure to achieve what they have achieved. So I think it's very important to understand that failure is a stepping stone for success
100%.
rather than success being the stepping stone for failure. It's always the other way around.
Otherwise, for the number of attempts, for the number of experiments which, the KFC, the founder did it, I think he should have committed every single second suicide. Of course, yes, he planned to commit suicide, and even for his sheer bad luck, the suicide also didn't work out for him. The suicide also
Karma,
didn't work out
karma.
for him.
It's all about karma.
Obviously, the suicide
It's all
said,
about karma.
I'm sorry, I'm not in love with you at the moment. So if I am in love with you at the moment, the suicide works. The
Sounds
what
like a
called
caption
suicide
on a
works.
t-shirt, huh?
Huh?
Sounds like a caption on a t-shirt.
No, 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 nothing.
Yeah, with a nice, yeah.
Yeah. So I was, just listening to your conversation. When I happened to see this, one of the South Indian talk show, that is Weekend with Ramesh, Dr. Ramesh Arvind,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
very much, known
Nice
as
person, yeah. Very
yeah,
nice. Very,
that
very,
person.
the way he talks is so, he talks in such a nice manner. Very seasoned.
She was telling only one thing. For me, when I was in love with Narayan Murthy, uh, Narayan Murthy clearly said that if you come behind me, you will get only books, rest nothing else. So that straightforwardness, I loved it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm cash rich, even though I'm wealthy or anything, that doesn't matter for me. So at that point of time, the simplicity what that man gave it to me is only the pages, bundle of knowledge, bundle of energy, wrapped with positivity. That's all I got to know. And from that moment, I thought this is my man, and we got wedded. Such simple, words, such simple words make a huge impact. But nowadays, people at this midst of lockdown, so many people are worried, so many people are frustrated, so many people are annoyed, saying that I've lost my job, I don't have money to eat. Now, what do you think for all those people will be a good idea to say that? Of course, the founder of Alibaba said that if you stay alive in
Yeah.
2020 itself is the biggest win for you.
Hmm.
But apart from that, as a celebrity, what do you say that for now, in the midst of lockdown, in the midst of 4 5 months of temporary situation, what is that one thing that you have to say for the people who are actually worried mentally, physically, and annoyed, frustrated, and tensed?
So there are two things you could do here. Work on your, when I'm saying work on your skills, it could be anything. As an entertainer, what are the various skill sets you could learn, you could pick up. Uh, Network and collaborate as much as you can with like-minded people. Okay. Third thing is also positive. When I'm saying positivity is something which is very infectious, whereas negativity will always come in and try to be a roadblock. Uh, See, these are situations you cannot control. COVID-19 has hit everybody. It's not just you as a person. So I think from the time we start accepting that COVID-19 has happened, we are fine. If we keep denying it, saying that, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? How will I survive? We will all survive. We have seen worse situations than this. The universe has seen worse situations than this, and the only way to get out of it is to work on yourself, be around positive people, and spread positivity as much as you can. And you know, read, write, work with different people, shed your ego. I think that's really important. I think human beings face this big problem of having an ego, which does
Yeah,
not allow us to work with a lot of people because we're very insecure and very scared. I think shedding your ego is very important because nobody's going to get out of this alive, right?
100%.
Nobody's going to get out of this alive. I जब तक vaccine नहीं बने कुछ किसी को कुछ पता नहीं है, and we don't know where the vaccine is also. First of all, so what we can control is ourselves, and by building our immunity levels, and by just being positive, by doing positive things, and just by living one moment at a time. Don't think too much about the future. Don't think too much about the past. Live in the present and make the most of it. So work on your skill sets. Work on things which you want to learn. Learn a new language. Learn to play a musical instrument. Work on things which you think can make a difference for your audience. Because, for example, we as entertainers are working with a live audience, and I think more than us, who must be really concerned about mera live audience ka hai, are the politicians. I'm telling you, the politicians love a live audience. Politicians love it. A guy like Mr. Modi would love going out there and talking to people, Mitro and all, doing all that. मतलब जितना भी तुम टीवी में आओ, doesn't make any difference. You want to be there in front of a live audience. So I think everybody is willing to get out there and do that stuff because that's where we get a high from, right? But now, how do we change now? Because conversations are going to change completely. It's about your Zoom calls, your WebEx calls, your Skype calls, your Facebook lives. and everything around it. So this is something which we cannot control. But what we can control is ourselves. And I think I believe post World War One, World War Two, there were a lot of
Mm-hmm.
companies which sank
Ah,
because they could not adjust or accommodate themselves to the new environment.
true.
And there were a lot of companies which also became really big to what they are right now. So this could be an
100%.
opportunity. This could be an opportunity for a lot of startups, for a lot of people like us to just go into the big league. I believe
Mm.
I think it's all boils down to what's in your head and what you want to do with it, and also understanding that there are certain things you cannot control, and the things which you can control, you can maximize it to your best potential. That's very important.
Of course, yes. You rightly said. When I was just having a view on the 20 lakh crore budget announcement and everything, my younger brother is a chartered accountant. He said, had I had XYZ amount of money, I'd have
Always
been
keep
a
your
startup
chartered
now.
accountants and your doctors in good humor, because they are lifesavers in terms of money and in terms of health. on a,
Of course.
on a light note, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 100%
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
To be frank, he was telling the same thing what you said. At this point of time, if I had been a startup at a medium sized corporate level, at a larger size retail level, I would clinched my level, and my monetary balances would have been ideally jumped up, and my lifestyle would have been much more different. This is a perfect time to experiment for me, because the word called vocal to global is such a fantastic to be caption line for me, because when you say word of mouth publicity works, that's really working for all of you and for all of us. Your word of mouth publicity said that from railway coaches to a COVID bed actually worked out. Never knew. Who knew? Who knew it was going to work out? But Modi also listened to it, and the health department said that where is this man getting his brains out of it? For me, if I have to comment it, Shaker has got brain, of course, in his head, and there's an additional brain in his kidney. That is the reason he's gonna pump up and clean up all this sort of ego. That's the reason he is a celebrity now. Of course,
you were
yes,
giving
I
me
will
an
be glad to
you
mention.
you were giving me an image of a human body for a few seconds, and then I thought of chartered accountant. I hope your brother's watching this.
No, no, he's sincerely working at the moment. So
Good.
the second thing which I wanted to ask, which industry after this lockdown opens will be sustaining? I see a smile on your face. I see a laugh,
The
small
politicians,
laugh on your face.
the
Huh?
politicians, the politicians,
The, po-
they will always thrive in any environment.
the politicians industry will sustain, is it?
100%, 100%.
Now,
See, they
what
know how to
makes you
survive in
check?
any environment. And also, on a lighter note, but on a more serious note, this is where
Mhm.
leadership skills count a lot, I
Of
believe.
course.
Oh my God, it's like the whole world is watching us, and we are also watching the whole world, actually, if you think about it. We are also, so much of media, so much information is there around us. And you don't know what is true, what is not true, because so much of fake news, so much of information through the WhatsApp university, and which is not verified, and everything around it. I think you got to just do an inky pinky ponky and decide which is the true news. But I feel the only industry which will survive, which can survive, is politicians. But like I said earlier, I think it boils down to being courageous, being brave, being creative, being collaborative, and just making sure you network and talk to your clients, send out messages to them, send out mails to them, ask them how they're doing. Because at the end of the day, more than them just being clients, they're also human beings,
Mhm.
right? They're facing the same problems like what you and I are facing,
Of
right? So
course.
I think it boils down to that. Once you can break down that barrier, the trust factor is there. Once you have the trust factor, you'll always get work based on that.
All right, fantastically said. Now, moving on to some hilarious and really good instance, bringing up in a comic level. Now, since you also follow cricket, now I this is not in the context of the syllabus, not the synopsis.
Are we
Okay,
getting Sanjay
now.
Manjrekar in?
No,
Oh
no,
my
not at
God.
all. Don't worry. Don't worry.
When I listen to him talk, I feel, yeah, I think we can be better storytellers than him. Really, at times he does not know what to talk. Seriously,
That's the reason even the troll people also said that when Sanjay
bits and
Manjrekar
pieces
was
cricketer. Huh?
arrived. Sanjay Vajrekar holds the mic and the blood start coming out of the ears.
Blood starts coming out.
Yeah,
My dog looks at him and says, "Isse na ho paega." Yeah,
I hope Sanjay Vajrekar is watching.
uh, it doesn't make any difference anyway.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So now you will have to tell me, give me a commentary of that Amir Sohail and Venkatesh Prasad's thing in your comic way, a stand-up
My
comic
comic.
way. Yeah, yeah,
See, I'll tell you, comedy is all about observation here.
yeah, yeah.
Comedy for me, what was funny about the entire incident was not Amir Sohail telling Venkatesh Prasad, "This is where I'm going to hit you next." It was the people in the commentary box. So at that time in the commentary box, there was Imran Khan and there was Ravi Shastri.
Ravi Shastri.
And so Imran, when Amit Sohail was going on this entire thing of hitting Venkatesh Prasad out of the attack, so Imran
Yeah,
Khan was telling Ravi Shastri or telling the audience, that's how a batsman should play. He should, he should be aggressive and he should go for the fours and sixes. The next ball, Venkatesh Prasad got him out and he told him something which is very unparliamentary. And then he showed him the way to the pavilion, right? Which we got all of. I think everybody got really excited because it's an India-Pakistan
of
game, yeah.
course.
And I think, Ravi Shastri said this just what the doctor ordered. And Shastri had a right answer for that. And I think Shastri has been there for Indian cricket at all these moments. When Dhoni hit that six in the World Cup, Shastri
Ah,
was there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, 100%.
Correct. This was in the 2003, 2000. Which World Cup was that? 2007. No,
No, this one,
2011.
2011. 11 cup.
2011. Yeah. T20 World Cup also he was there when India
Yeah,
won the
yeah,
T20 World Cup for the first time. So
yeah.
I think India and Ravi Shastri are running like parallel tracks in terms of wherever any India has done something, Ravi Shastri has been there. And if you talk about Indian cricket team, uh, and I believe when Shane Warne had come to India and
Mhm.
he had played against Sachin Tendulkar, it also goes to the Sachin Tendulkar had prepared very intensively against Shane Warne. And I think, and Shane Warne, nobody could sledge Sachin at all because they say if you sledge Sachin, Sachin gets onto you, and that's so true about great players, right? You don't mentally disintegrate them. Which this is a word which is coined by Australia anyway. Mental disintegration. They
Mental
only
discipline.
understand. Basically, they want to bully you, nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
They can bully
100%.
you. They're successful. If they're not bullying, they will get beaten up like how Indians beat up Australians nowadays. So yeah, but I think that was funny. See, comedy is all about observation. Comedy is all about the masala in that moment between Amir Suhail and I think Amir
Like,
Suhail will never forget that moment. Yeah,
not at all.
life,
Not at all.
all his life, he's going to remember that one moment when Venkatesh Prasad told him the way to the pavilion in his own way. So I don't think Amir Sohail is going to forget that day at all. Even if he's going to forget, some Indian will always remind him, saying that boss, याद आ रहा है जो हुआ था हम तुम्हारे साथ Bangalore में of all the places.
If I have to relate that into the present comedy, which is the actually a viral one, when you actually see this in this present scenario, there's a one GIF or the video which has been coming in. ये मजाक हो रहा है, मजाक हो रहा है. At the airport, somebody says that, and then I think this happened in Pakistan or a Muslim, to be very sportively humorous. He said, "मजाक हो रहे हैं, मजाक हो रहे हैं." If I have to relate that in a comic level, I have to bring that line over here.
But then we have to also realize that, for a long time, India used to lose against Pakistan at Sharjah.
Yeah,
So when, there were a lot of times when we used to watch the game from our homes, and Sharjah was always Sharjah, Harjah, Sharjah, Harjah. India was always
Arja.
losing. I think in World Cup, India has never lost against Pakistan. And I think that's something which Pakistan will always remember. Because I think Pakistan is a deadly team. They were a deadly team. They had such wonderful fast bowlers. I was like, how did these guys have got so many fast bowlers here? Like Amir, there was Waqar Yunus, Imran Khan, Sarfraz Nawaz. Then you had, you know, uh, Wasim Akram. What
Wasim Akram.
such a short run up and so much of pace in his
Yes.
action. I think amazing. I think the Pakistan team by themselves are great players. They've got, but they're not. They don't have temperament, which you can see right now. They don't know what they're talking about. Somebody's criticizing India. Somebody's patronizing India. Somebody has got something to talk about India. Basically, I think India's at a different level altogether in terms of cricket. I believe, and I think it's also because this current Indian team is full of champions here. But let's
Of
see how
course.
things work out once the IPL or the World Cup starts. It'll be different.
How badly are you missing IPL?
See, IPL in terms of media commitments is a lot because whenever IPL is there, I'm out there on the TV channels talking about it, or there is a column in the paper. So that commitment is not there because of IPL. But then, like I said, there is always another alternative. There's always an opportunity in adversity, and it's about what you do with what you have. And
Right.
I believe if you can read and if you can write well, that can make a big difference.
Fantastically said. Really, really appreciate that line. I think if the audience, this spectators or the live viewers, if they can take that line and if they can adopt it, that's for sure,
And
100%.
and if you can sleep well also.
So it said, it said, you both have a nice, beautiful chat. There is no IPL, so for me, it's a resting time. If there is IPL
Absolutely.
today, of
You
course,
you
yes,
know,
all the bets also now.
I have to tell you this. I have. So her name is Sunshine, my dog's name, and she's
Okay.
been with us for the last 13 years now. What I
Hmm.
like about her is
Hmm.
the fact that she's very positive and she lives in the moment.
Oh,
So
great.
if she's in the kitchen, she's just waiting for something to fall. Like Isaac Newton was waiting for that apple to fall.
Apple to fall.
Sunshine is doing that every day, every moment. That positivity is so interesting, yeah. It really gets you thinking like what runs in their head, and they are so full of love and so much of loyalty in terms of what they are all about. I think there's so much to learn from animals, that they know how to get back on track. They know what their priorities in life are, and they go with it with full gusto, without looking here and there, just going for it. That's very interesting thought actually about animals.
Now, if I have to comment, if I have to say something about you, very good admirer you are, very good, observer you are. Of course, yes, because not many people say things about animals, on a generic note. But you also covered your own pet and also said some positive, features, some positive characteristics about the animals. It's a very fantastic observing
Array,
factor which you've
I'm
got.
telling you, animals must be thinking about us humans in what way you don't know. They must be these humans are such losers. They can't manage on COVID-19, and we have
Of
managed so
course.
many generations together.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you should do is you should talk to our dinosaurs. They will tell you how to manage life. So animals must be having a ringtone in their head saying that, boss, do a speed dial, call up the dinosaurs, call up the elephants.
Yeah.
They will tell you how to manage life. Like these humans, such losers. They must be thinking in their head. But I've known, like I have been having this dog for so many years, and I've observed and learned so much. And I've seen animals in general. I think uh, animals, the way they look at life, the way they look at things, the love they have, I think it's amazing.
Fantastic. To be frank with you, really, really nice and very good way that you put across dinosaurs and everything. My mind is now running. Where can I get a dinosaur's egg now? So to give that warmthness, let that dinosaur egg hatch out and let
Go
that
watch
dinosaur become
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, when you say Jurassic Park, the recent actor who left us,
Oh yeah.
he was actually rejected for the first instance to act in the Bollywood industry and to enter into the cinema industry. But that man played a vital role in the Jurassic Park.
I think
Fantastic! What a time! What a change
yeah.
around for him.
I think Irfan Khan had eyes which could talk.
Yeah.
Irfan Khan could just get into the character so easily in such a seamless manner without you even noticing it. I think he had a very everyman appeal. So Irfan Khan in Piku, Irfan Khan in Makbool,
Makbul.
Irfan Khan in Jurassic Park. He was there in Spider-Man also.
Mhm.
Irfan Khan in any movie you see, he's always been there without you even noticing it. And I think that's his speciality. I think that the way of just merging into the character, it's so easy. He makes such a tough thing look so simple. It's not easy to merge into the character so easily as an actor, but he's done it so graciously. And unfortunately, I think the world of entertainment lost him because at such a young age. I think 52 years not the age to die. Yeah, but
True.
then it's also lifestyle and cancer, and that's something which nobody has a control on. So, but whatever he has done in his life, I think people still remember him for it, and I think that's a legacy we all want to keep forward, right? Very important to make people talk about you when you're dead, also. And I think he was an inspirational character with the way he used to act, with the way he's made. He used to. I think Irfan Khan was very different as an actor, very very different. Yeah,
Even in the appearance level, I was just having a look at the videos which he had given at the press interviews or a talk show or a conversation with the media people and all. He said, I was being rejected for the same looks, same rustic or the rugged looks which I have it,
yeah.
and the same thing, the same looks also got me enough money for me through the
But you'll be quite
cinema.
surprised. Hollywood used to call him a handsome face. He had a very arresting face in Hollywood. Whereas if you look at the Indian film industry, initially they rejected him for obvious reasons because they have a certain prototype in terms of how an actor or an actress should be. But I think now times are changing. Now wonderful stories are being written. It's like I said, it all boils down to the writing, right? More than what an actor is capable of. If your writing is good, everything works on that level. If you look at all the web series around you, if you look at all the stuff which you watch on the small screen, there is so much of talent out there. There is
Of
so much of
course.
ability out there, and I think that makes it very interesting.
Now, one of the instances which I have to tell it to you, one of the famous directors, Ram Gopal Verma, was telling, now the amidst of 2020s to 2030s, you will see a concept-based films or the story-based films deciding on the person who are there and the crew. So if Shekhar Vijayan is there in the crew, or if Shravan is there in the crew, so basis on Shekhar Vijayan's appearance, based on Shekhar Vijayan's character, I will design an opposite way or a suspense thriller one. That is going to be taking a new era or taking a new version of the cinema industry, where I can get a boom in the number of shows being run or the monetary benefit which I can go. I think this is one of the fantastic statement he's been given. I think hope that comes into life very soon after the COVID-19.
There was a very good movie made by Ram Gopal Verma called Shiva, which
Shiva.
had Nagarjuna acting in it. Oh my God. I think that was his first movie which he made. And there was another movie called Rangila, which he made in Hindi. It's about the Bombay film industry. It had Amir Khan and Urmila Matondkar. And he made a movie called Company and Satya, of course. Satya, which it's about the Bombay underworld, and it introduced Bhiku Matre to all of us. That is Manoj Bajpayee. I think Ram Gopal Varma was a very different filmmaker, a filmmaker who was ahead of his times, very opinionated also. So people misunderstood him a lot because he had a very different opinion. He never used to follow the regular what kind of opinions people would have. He was not the normal person. He was very honest in what he felt, and I think, very different from the rest of the filmmakers.
He was in a conservative boundary, saying that my thoughts this. So as a director, if I put in my thoughts, of course, yes, as an artist, you respect it. You take the product, and the byproduct will be victory for you. Ram Gopal Verma usually said this. As a director, if an artist respects the concept, the hero or the crew member will definitely get whatever he needs or whatever she needs. I think now that is missing a lot in the lot of loads and loads of industry, like events industry. We always see that troll saying that client's budget versus client's expectation. So that's been one of the most hilarious one. Clients ask for a Jaguar to be presented, so the client's budget would be even
And they
less
get a
than an
BMTC
Atlas
bus, huh?
cycle.
And they get a BMTC bus.
No, even the lesser than an Atlas to cycle.
Oh yeah, we've seen that happen. So, Shravan, we have covered a lot of things in this Facebook Live. We have
Yeah,
covered,
yeah.
obviously, Amit Sohail must be thinking of us somewhere in Pakistan, I'm sure. Venkatesh Prasad must be thinking about us in Bangalore. Ram Gopal
Bangalore.
must be thinking about us because he must be scratching his nose somewhere. We've
Yeah.
covered animals, of course. We have also
Yeah.
covered how we can conquer COVID-19 in our own desi style. We've also
True.
covered how one could use all this time available to make a difference to your life. And yeah, I think we covered practically everything. So if anybody
And
has
we've
any
also covered the
questions,
politics.
oh yes, politics. Politics is something which is which is very interesting. Yeah. So if anybody has any questions, please you could post a question in the comment box here. And I have to also share this with everybody. So we were talking about the present government, Modi government, and everything around it. There are people who like the government. There are people who hate the government because it's very polarizing. Now this
Mhm.
happened last year with me. I was traveling from Bangalore to Chennai, and I was taking this double-decker train
Double decker
from
train.
Bangalore to Chennai, and
Mhm.
there were a lot of mosquitoes in the train, and when there are mosquitoes, everybody starts cribbing because that's what we like to do, right? And we started cribbing mosquitoes there in the train. When I tweeted the Prime Minister and the Railway Minister at the same time from the train saying that there are mosquitoes in this train, can something be done about it? I think it stopped at Attapadi or some station like that near Chennai. There was a T2 who came in, made sure
Mhm.
everything is fine, and Mr. Modi and the Railway Minister retweeted back saying that I hope everything is fine now. So that is
You're
very
an influencer.
interesting. Yeah. So, I think somewhere if you tweet and you tweet at the right time, you get response back. But then I found that very interesting that the Prime Minister responded back to you or the Railway Minister responded back to you and they have the accountability to do something about it. I think
Really
Sagar is
fantastic.
asking about marketing.
Marketing, yeah. Bro, talk about marketing, yeah. So here's the question for you. Please go ahead. If I have to
So,
say a few things about Sagar Suresh, he's also one of the social worker. He's a student. He's also into marketing department. Of course, he would be a little worried and also concerned and about taking things way forward after that COVID-19.
yeah. So Sagar, marketing comes down to understanding your potential
Yeah.
and talking about it in the most honest manner. When I'm saying, marketing is, in a layman's term, is selling ice to an Eskimo because an Eskimo seen ice all his life. Eskimo sees ice, buys the ice from you, and feels happy about it. That is marketing for me. And in today's day and time, I think social media is extremely popular.
Hmm.
Social media is extremely popular because social media can either make or break you. And it's about putting your most honest image out there because I think it's ultimately boils down to what you're all about, what your personality is all about, what you want to do with what your image is all about, what your brand is all about. And uh, the most important skill set in marketing is going to be storytelling. It is going to be storytelling.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody,
obviously.
uh, for me, the best story ever told is Mahabharat because Mahabharat, you don't know who's right, who's wrong, whether the Pandavas are right or the Kauravas are right. Because I think both for me were great characters, and
The author
storytelling
is
is going
right
to be
in this.
absolutely. Now, as we talk, we're having a Facebook live. On
Hmm.
Facebook, you have a Facebook story. On
Yeah,
Instagram, you got Instagram story.
yeah,
On WhatsApp, you got WhatsApp story,
yeah.
which is basically looks at your attention level for 30 seconds or more. So I think your storytelling skills is really important. It's about what you talk. It's about, storytelling has always got to be dramatic. It's got to have a story. It's got to have something which the audience can relate to you. So I think somewhere that is marketing because I think storytelling, as we talk, is going to be the most important skill. And obviously, there is Sujit who's joined us. He's from Kerala. He's talking about fitness.
Okay.
Yes, fitness is extremely important. Like I said, if you're not fit, you're not wealthy. Fitness is a new wealth, not money. Fitness is a new Bitcoin. Yeah. So
Yeah.
marketing. There you go.
Now, if I have to add to your point, you need to have a SWOT analysis, also additional element for
Oh
the
yeah.
marketing. Storytelling, willingness of telling to others the same story. So that's a SWOT. Usually, SWOT is a strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. I don't see it that way over here. Storytelling and willingness to tell it to others. The same
And
thing is the word of mouth publicity in an Android version. I am giving it.
and 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 also, I think the most important point is talking about your failures. If you can talk about your failures in the most honest manner, a lot of people can relate to you. Any successful person you've seen around you, if they talk about the failures, it makes people relate to them more. Your failures are more important than your success. Your failures can teach you more than your success can. Because if you haven't failed, you haven't succeeded. So storytelling
Now,
is all about that. Yeah.
I also saw this fantastic troll. where North India has been given a birth to a baby, and then all the family members surround that Jolie, and they say that "Mera beta South India jayega."
Hmm.
Before that, before
अच्छा वो
COVID-19,
मद्रासी नहीं
"Mera
बोला.
beta."
अच्छा वो मद्रासी नहीं बोला. When I was in Delhi,
Who is that?
South Indians are known as Madrasis, by the way, for a
All
long
right,
time,
I don't know. I
because
don't know who's
everybody who
told
was in
this, but
southern part of
please.
India was a Madrasi for them for a long time. I think, and also it's because of the comedians at that time, the likes of Mahmood had painted this very different picture of South Indians. Anybody who was dark is a South Indian. That's
South
what they
Indian.
felt. Anybody who was fair had a disease. So when you're in up north, everybody thought anybody in the southern part of India is Madras. They've not heard of Kerala or any other places. But I think now things are changing. Obviously, like if you ask any Indian, the eastern part of India, many people don't even know about it, right?
Okay.
For any South Indian, if you ask them which is the northern part of India, they will just think of Bihar or Punjab. There are so many other things out there also. So I think we Indians as a country are very diverse. So it's about, yeah. So Sagar
So,
says people don't have patience to listen to failure story. Sagar, it all depends on what kind of story you want to tell them.
of course,
That's
not
very
again
important.
a broken up story. Nobody will be able to
Correct.
listen that.
And I think your story has to be convincing. Your story has to have a metal of the strong variety where you are able to convey what you want to convey with a strong moral, with a strong value, with a strong message. Because any story which leaves a moral and then which has substance will always connect with people. I don't know if you people know this, but I've been to Mount Kailash 2 years back. I did a 53-kilometer trek around the mountain by foot, and it's all purely based on ability. If I can, anybody can ultimately. So it's your story which counts here. It's your story which counts at the end of the day. Is your storytelling skills. And if you look at any leader around you, be it a Modi, be it a Barack Obama, be it Donald Trump also, for example, or be it Nelson Mandela, if you
Yeah,
can talk your way through, if you've got good storytelling skills, any leader, any CEO, you will succeed in life.
of course. Adding to your point, we've also seen that a Facebook video of an interview.
Hmm.
How the interview goes on. The interviewer comes in. The interviewer sits in a place, and the interviewer asks, pick up a marker and write something on the board. And then the people, the aspirants, write whatever they are good at. And also one gentleman writes an unparliamentary word which starts with what the, and the rest of the word is an unparliamentary word. And
I
then
like the fact that we haven't used any galis in this Facebook life. It's all been unparliamentary, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
good.
100%.
Good.
Now, after that, the one of the guy comes in with the party wear stuff. Of course, the interviewer, the HR, would be holding a cup of coffee in a stylish manner, and then he
Hmm.
says that you're in the wrong place. So this man, this boy, this aspirant comes in to the interviewer and says that, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you're an interviewer. I'll leave." Then
Hmm.
he asks the boy to come in and say that, "Are you here for an interview?" He says yes. Then he says the same line: pick up the marker and write something on the board. There, a caption comes: interview, INTER hyphen view.
Hmm.
He picked up the marker and wrote the word called something.
Hmm.
The statement by the HR was: pick up the marker and write something on the board.
Hmm.
So he interviewed. So write something. Right? He interviewed the mental thinking of the HR. He literally wrote the word called something, and then he then asked to have a seat, and then the lengthy conversation about his failures were spoken, and then at the last he said one line: if I have to give you this job, you'll have to take out these earrings, all these shaggy styles, all this party wears will have to go. You'll have to put on formals, and you'll have to cut your hair and be neat. Then that aspirant says, that's a good suggestion. Well, I'll keep myself in the same way how I am. So the interviewer asked the question back, saying that, is the job more important to you or your style? Then he addresses the issue in the same
I think
nice
your
manner.
chair.
Yeah. No,
I think your chair.
no, no, not the way.
Hmm.
An identity without myself, a job without identity of myself is not worth for me. This is a line which he used and said that, thanks for your suggestion. And then pause of 2 or 3 seconds, and the HR said, you're in. That's
Oh
how you
wow.
interview. That's how is the storytelling. That's how is the storytelling.
That's a very interesting story.
Yeah. It's right. He said, Sagar said it's right about something. And that's an
Something.
attitude video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right about, yeah.
Also,
About the
yeah,
video.
I think we have come to the end of this live. Uh,
Definitely, yes. So I will give you a rapid five, positive and hilarious rapid five questions.
okay.
First one. So about the fitness. So I'll give you a rapid five questions, which will
Hmm.
cover fitness, politics, and MCing, and also rest of the two my favorite thing. Okay, now
Hmm.
first question:
Hmm.
Apple or Dairy Milk Silk?
Apple, yeah, any day. Dairy Milk
Apple
has
any
got butter, and I hate butter.
Great. All right. So Indian politics or overseas politics?
Oh, Indian politics, man, it's like Mahabharat. Everything, masala, big boss, everything is Indian politics.
Great. So MC, stand-up comic, storytelling, or author?
I think storytelling, yeah, because storytelling
Storytelling.
combines all these virtues. I feel
Great. Okay. Now to the pet: dog, cat, ant, butterfly, or a spider?
dogs any day.
Dogs
A
any day.
dog is yeah, yeah. Me and the dog have got the same hairstyle.
Okay. Now, what is a finest meal for a day to be fit?
Meal to be fit, I eat egg whites.
Mhm.
So I feel that's something which I stay fit on. But one way to stay fit is also have lots of fruits, lots of oranges if you can. Avoid mangoes because
Mhm.
mangoes got a lot of sugar content.
Mhm.
Have lots of bananas.
Mhm.
Have lots of watermelon, muskmelon.
Mhm.
Avoid grapes.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I think that should be fine. And drink lots of water. Very important. And
Not
avoid
quarter.
addiction. Yeah, not quarter. Avoid addiction of any kind. When I'm saying addiction, smoking
Uh,
and drinking is certainly not worth it. There's
mhm.
people might have a different opinion on that, but smoking is injurious to health, and I don't think drinking was ever good. So, though it's
One of the
helping the
beer
economy right
lover is
now.
also watching this live. One of the
No,
beer
but
lover is
though,
also
though, though,
watching.
but drinking is helping the economy right now. So, fine. Anything which helps the economy is good. Indian
All right.
economy,
So
that
now,
is.
Sanjay Manjrekar, Harsha Bogle, Ravi Shastri, or Imran Khan.
Shravan, Shravan is right there on top. First Shravan, then we'll go with Harsha Bogle, then we'll go with Imran Khan, and Sanjay Manjrekar is not on the list anyway. I don't mind including Ramesh Raja also in this.
Oh
But
my God.
but I think for me the best commentator was uh, Jack Nicholas. Oh, sorry, Mark Nicholas and
Mhm.
Richie Beno. So
Lovely.
Richie Beno the late Richie Beno used to talk for Channel 9 Australian cricket, and he said it very interestingly. If you don't have anything to talk about, don't talk. So
Lovely. Yeah, yeah.
sometimes silence can be golden, but I don't think many
Yeah.
other commentators understand that they have to keep talking because they think they're scared that if they don't talk, they will miss the action on the field. So like Richie Benoit said very clearly, if you don't have anything to add, don't talk.
Don't
I
talk.
think he was the best commentator for me, and I think Harsha
Fantastic.
Bogle is also very good. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's
Right.
very good.
So Sagar Suresh also has mentioned my name because of you
Yeah,
in the commentators list.
homework for everybody. Please go Google Shravan's voice notes. Shravan's voice notes are epic.
Oh my God. That's the same line which has been used by Akshay also. Akshay
Yeah,
also says
everybody knows it. Akshay knows it. Akshay knows it. Everybody knows it. We enjoy it.
great. So if you have to say one liner about the thing which is going to change, that one thing which is going to change after lockdown, what
Hmm.
is that?
The hair.
The hair?
No, no. One thing which is going to change after the lockdown.
Yeah.
On a more serious note, it's going to be the fact that your iPhones will not recognize facial recognition because of the mask. So that is one. Second thing is the next time anybody sneezes,
Mhm.
they will be everybody will look at that person very suspiciously because
Suspiciously.
yeah, sneezes or coughs like they're like stay away from me types. So I think it's going to be very interesting because once the airports open up, flights open up, how are you going to sit? Restaurants open up, your conversations are going to change completely. There's going to be a lot of gratitude, which is very important. And I think we just got to wait and watch and see how this progresses, how the world takes to it. But I don't think this is the end. I think this is something which we have to live with and be ready for anything which comes our way. I don't think I believe 2020 is
Mhm.
almost like that skip button, you have in that when you Amazon, Netflix, and somehow that skip button is not working here.
Yeah,
The
of course.
2020 has been so bad. I'm like,
Uh,
एक तो ये COVID-19 hua, then you've got your cyclones which are happening. Then suddenly yesterday there was that sonic boom and all which happened in Bangalore,
Sorry.
right? I'm like, the gods have decided, boss, we're going to end this world. So be ready for anything which comes your way. But till then, have fun, make the most of it, and spend more time with your loved ones. I think very, very important. If you haven't told somebody you love them, go and tell them right now. It could be anyone you think is important. Go for it. But don't miss out.
Don't miss out.
Yeah, don't.
Even Sagar says lifestyle and financial. That's going to change.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very important. Lifestyle will change, financial will change, everything will change. Yeah. We will all become experts in jadu poncha, in washing utensils. We will realize what our servants really do, what our domestic helps really do, and we realize we're much better than them. But the fact is, this also makes you more independent, makes you more self-sufficient, and it also understands you also get a feeling of how you are in terms of the world, and that we are not very important for the world, for nature. Nature is still doing what it has to do, and it will
Yeah,
still do what it has to do in the future also. But we have to keep moving on and be positive about it and embrace this uncertainty with positivity, which is not easy. Embracing this uncertainty because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but make the most of what's going to happen right now, which is enjoying this Facebook live with Shravan and Sunshine.
sunshine. Sunshine is now on a moonshine. It's having
Yeah, yeah.
happening
Sunshine
in
is
having an
she's waiting for the moon to shine. Trust me.
To be frank, this is guys presented exclusively by MC Shravanapamanu. The host for today was myself, and the guest for today was Shekhar Vijayan.
Thank you.
For those who are watching this live after the live is being finished, but for now, it is still him who has made that one factor called X factor in terms of hilariousness and the humorous and also the good, genuine smile on his face, bringing
Somebody said
all
I
the
look like Vidya
liveliness.
Balan. I'm like, I share this with my mom. Mommy, I look like Vidya Balan now.
Vidya
I'll send
Balan.
the screenshot to Vidya Balan. Vidya Balan, I look
Yeah,
just like you. I'm like
yeah,
a
yeah.
brother from another mother
She would say
because of the
that
long hair.
you've been color photocopied.
Color photocopied, yeah.
That is the way I think she could give a comment to you. Vidya Balan, fantastic.
She's coming
Okay.
as, and she's also coming as Shakuntala Devi now. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
coming as Shakuntala Devi in a movie which is coming out on, I think, on Amazon and Netflix. And I had a chance to meet Shakuntala Devi when she was in Bangalore. And then
Oh,
she's an
so,
incredible, incredible personality. Shakuntala Devi's. All this is going to come out in my book, guys. So I've met some very interesting people like Shravan, also Shravan. So I'm going to be talking all about this in a book, which is going to come out soon about my trip to Mount Kailash, obviously about my dog, and
mhm.
the moment when me and Sunshine met a ghost under the banyan tree in Bangalore. There's a story around that.
Fantastic. Lovely. So, I'm telling it on a serious note. So we also have a bunch of people saying that that's more into a typical Kannada short films. So now I've also started to give out more and more of short films in the English language also. So this concept, I was just waiting something suspensory or a live element. Since now you've told us in live, I'm going to approach you post lockdown with the social distancing. We will definitely do a short film or a telefilm basis on this experience with the team. We're going to approach you officially and your Sunshine officially. And then, of course, yes, I will try to talk to Sunshine in my own way. If Sunshine agrees, responds, okay, fine. Otherwise, you're there to help me. But trust me,
100%.
guys, it's a promise from NC Shravanapamanu and team of his saying that the ghost experience will
And
be
it'll be
hosted
financed by
and
a chartered
delivered.
accountant brother.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
He'll handle finance.
Yeah, he'll handle finance.
Good.
Fantastic. We can bring this, on a short film or a telefilm. That's for sure, 100%. And all the very best for your book. When is it
Thank
going
you,
to be
sir.
released?
It'll in the next couple of months, and we'll
Mhm.
do it. Let's see if we can do it online and offline. But it's going to be very interesting because I've met some very interesting people along the way, and I've had some very interesting conversations and some very interesting encounters. So it's going to be fun, and I've got a very vivid imagination. So it should
Oh,
be fun. Writing is always very, very interesting. And I sleep very late. I sleep at 3 in the night and I have these very
mhm.
interesting thoughts in the head. Hopefully that'll come out in the book and it'll come out soon. But it was nice talking to you. Shravan, you're a typical Aquarian. You're game for anything, I feel. And that reflects your mindset. And that's very important in the kind of profile we are all in terms of entertainment. We are game for any kind of conversation which comes our way. So thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you, wonderful engaging with you. And this is the first time I'm actually talking to you. And we sound like long
Yeah,
lost friends with a chartered accountant brother.
100%. Yes. So,
Yeah.
we initially thought that we will go ahead with 1,200 seconds of this live, and
Yeah.
now it's become a decimal over there. So it's almost now 1.20. In about 5 minutes to go, it's
Oh my God.
1.20.
No wonder Sunshine was sleeping.
So in the midst of 1,200 seconds in my clock, it's 1 hour 20 minutes.
Super. Great. So we can talk for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So
We're in
thank
the
you so much
business of
for
talking
accepting.
anyway. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much
much.
for accepting my invitation and being on my live show. Fantastically, all the best. Wishing you
Thank you.
with a good health, success, positivity, humorousness, hilariousness, and also a big bank balance in the account of yours.
Says the man who's got a chartered accountant as a brother. Yeah.
Thank you so
On
much.
this note, also you can also share the link. There should be YouTube link which you could share with your friends on your page. So I think I've shared a
Definitely,
link with you. You could use that for the YouTube link. Yeah.
definitely.
All
Say
the best.
goodbye
Yeah.
and
Do well.
tata bye bye for Sunshine also.
Yeah. And inshallah, you replace Sanjay Manjrekar in the commentary box. He's already out anyway. So
Oh
Shravan is
my
going to
God.
be the next man with Harsha
No, no,
Bhogle. It'll be
I'm
fun,
happy
man.
with the title called Junior Harsha Bhogle. That's fine for me.
Have fun, man. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Right, that was Rustic with Shravan Upamanyu, season number one, episode, for accepting my invitation and being my guest. We'll come up with a few more really, really humorous and really hilarious and sensational guests in the upcoming live shows. Thank you so much. Keep loving, keep getting entertained. And of course, Kanak Madhur, I missed this. 100% I would share the link, it would be there. And all of you, do take care of yourself. Social distancing is must, sanitization is must. Stay home, stay safe. All the best for you. Rustic with Shravan Upamanyu, Season 1, Episode number 3 with Shekhar Vijayana comes to an end. But the video would be available for all of you. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.